Hello, and welcome back, you guys. I want to thank you guys that have been supporting me since 12:07 a.m. this morning. I want to thank you guys for all of your support. I want to thank Daphne and Ashley from Germany. They came on to support this morning. Oh my God, they helped me down. When I tell you they helped me down, they helped me down. I want to thank Stephanie who came on this morning. We were having technical difficulties, but she pressed her way through. We tried to make it on the phone. However, we went off of Facebook and we just went into prayer and just prayed, and that was how that went. Patrice tried to come on this morning with me, wasn't able to get on, but she was able to send me some resources that I shared in the last video, so they're posted in the comment section. If you go over to the comment section, you can check out the comment section. I tell you, God has truly been moving today. Oh my God, I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful that this journey that I've been on. I know that it's not about me. It is not about me, but about the people's life that I'm supposed to impact. I used to wonder why I had to endure these things that I was enduring in my life, but now I see. You know, I see now. Because if I never went through domestic violence, I wouldn't be able to be on here today and be able to share with you guys, you know, all the tips that I shared throughout the morning. And I'm going to go through again and share them again. I'm going to go over the tips again. But I wouldn't have been able to share with you guys. I'm thankful for this journey that I've been on because it has allowed me the opportunity to be able to share my testimony, to be able to share my trials and my tribulations that I endure. Not only domestic violence, but suicide awareness, self-love. I tell you, because when you look at this thing, everything coincides with everything. But we as people, we have to learn how to come together, because we have to put an end to all this abuse. And I want to shout out to um all of those that came on this morning and posted statistics, shared the links. I want to shout out to those that have donated to the fundraiser that I'm doing. I want to send a shout out to my editor Pulani from for Aspiring Authors Magazine from Africa. The magazine is live. As soon as I get a chance, I will post the links so you guys, if you want to order your copy of September's magazine. Oh my God, it is amazing. I had a chance to preview it. It is amazing. I tell you, our editor is amazing. She does an amazing job. She does. When I say she does an amazing job, she does an amazing job. And I am super proud of her. When I tell you I'm super proud of her, I am super proud of her. So again, if you did not catch the previous lives, we are giving away gifts throughout the day. So if you were not on live to catch the gifts, there were catchphrases that was given for the gifts. And in order to win a gift, you have to comment the gift. So if it's gift one, it's gonna be gift one, and then the phrase that was used as the catchphrase. And the first person that does that will win. And that's for every live that we have done. As we excuse me, y'all. We shared so we had video 1, 2, and 3. This is now video 4. So we've given away 3 gifts already. So if you have the catchphrase for 1, 2, or 3, if you post them on the video that it belongs to, then you will win that gift for that video. Please, no cheating. And if you're catching it live, then just post it now. I'll see it. If you're catching this during a replay, just comment replay, the video number, and the catchphrase. And you can win a gift. Good morning, Cheryl Paulette Williamson. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I want to thank you guys for all of your support. Patrice, Daphne, Stephanie, Ashley, everyone that has jumped on, Shauna, and Shauna, she was on this morning. Again, she'll be back on at 4 p.m. This evening from 4 to 8. She has some amazing guests that are going to be on with her. I tell you, you don't want to miss that opportunity to be able to be up close and personal with I don't know what I did. But up close and personal with Shauna and her crew, because she's bringing her own crew. She ain't playing. She ain't playing. She ain't playing. But I have to send her the link. If you guys would please share this broadcast, do a watch party on whatever you need to do, because I am going to be sharing some more domestic violence information that could possibly help someone. So I'm going to pull up the statistics through the NCADV, which is the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. So this morning I was on the National Hotline for Domestic Violence website, and I was sharing information that they collected. So now I'm going to share information that's provided through the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. The national statistics that was last reported for them has a date of, what is this? And it's located in Denver, Colorado, this organization. So this is the statistics that they are reporting. This is the national fact sheet is what I'm going to be going off of. So it's the national fact sheet that's reported by the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. So it's the NCADV. So what is domestic violence? Domestic violence is the willful, intimidation, physical assault, battery, sexual assault, and of other abusive behavior as part of a systematic pattern of power and control perpetrated by one to intimidate a partner against another. It includes physical violence, sexual violence, threats, economic and emotional psychological abuse. The frequency and severity of domestic violence varies dramatically. Did you know in the United States, more than 10 million adults experience domestic violence annually? If each of these adults experience only one incident of violence in an adult life, the U.S. will experience violence every 3 seconds. However, because domestic violence is a pattern, many experience repeated actions of the same abuse annually. So an incident of abuse happens far more frequent than every 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds, someone is getting abused. It's a 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men experience sexual violence, physical violence, and are stalking by an intimate partner during their lifetime, with IPV-related impact such as being concerned for their safety, PTSD symptoms, injury, or needing victim services. Approximately 1 in 5 female victims and 1 in 20 male victims need medical care. It says 1 in 5 female victims, 1 in 9 male victims need legal service. Female victims sustain injuries 3 times more often than male victims. It says 23.2% of women and 13.9% of men have experienced severe physical violence by an intimate partner during their lifetime. From 2016 to 2018, the number of intimate partner violence victimization in the United States increased 42%. On a typical day, domestic violence hotline nationwide receives over 19,000 calls. An abuser access to a firearm increases the risk of an intimate partner's femicide by 400%. In 2018, a partner violence accounted for 20% of all violent crimes. It's an intimate partner's violence is most common against women between the ages of 18 and 24. Babies just coming into adulthood. 19% of intimate partners involve a weapon. So they violating these women or men using weapons. So they definitely need intimidation. This is just appalling. Just makes no sense to me. Impact that domestic violence has. Domestic violence prevalent in every community and affects all people regardless of age, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, gender, race, religion, or nationality. Physical violence is often accompanied by emotional abuse and controlling behaviors as part of a much larger systematic pattern of dominancy and control. Domestic violence can result in physical injuries, in psychological trauma, and even death. The devastating consequences of domestic violence can cross generations and last a lifetime. Domestic violence, sexual assault. 1 in 5 women, 1 in 40 men in the United States are victims of rape or attempted rape during their lifetime. Nearly 1 in 5 women and 1 in 12 men have experienced contact sexual assault by an intimate partner in their lifetime. From 2016 to 2018, the number of rape, sexual assault, victimization in the United States increased 146%. Stalking. Stalking victimization involves a pattern of harassing or threatening tactics used by the perpetrator that causes the victim to fear for their safety and the safety of others. 19.1 million women, 6.4 million men in the United States have been stalked. Why people can't stay to themselves? Why you got to be stalking somebody? Don't nobody want you, leave them alone. You can't make nobody like you. You can't make nobody want to be with you. 66.2% of female stalking victims report stalking by current or former intimate partners. 1 in 10 women, 1 in 50 men have experienced stalking by an intimate partner during their lifetime. Homicide. 1 in 2 females murdered victims, and 1 in 13 male victims are killed by intimate partners. A study of intimate partner homicides found 20% of victims were family members or friends of the abused partner, neighbors, persons who intervene, law enforcement responders, or bystanders. 65% of all murder suicides are perpetrated by intimate partners. 96% of murder suicide victims are female. Most intimate partner homicides are committed with firearms. Abusers' access to firearms increase with the risk of intimate partner femicide at least fivefold. When firearms have been used in most severe abuse incidents, the risk increases 41%. While the overall rates of intimate partners have decreased, intimate partner femicide has increased in recent years, driven by the increase of intimate partner femicide committed with firearms. Victims of intimate partner violence are in increased risk of contracting HIV or other STS due to forced intercourse and other prolonged exposures to stress. Intimate partners victimization are correlated with a high rate of depression and suicidal behaviors. Only 34% of people who are injured by intimate partners receive medical care for their injuries. Why? Because they're embarrassed. They don't want people to know what's going on. We got to stop all this. It says victims of intimate partner violence loses a total of 8 million days of pay work. That can't be right, but it is right. 8 million days of paid work each year, the equivalent of 32,000 full-time jobs. Did you hear that? I'm gonna read that again. It's a victims of intimate partner violence loses a total of 8 million days of paid work each week. That's equivalent to 32,000 paid full-time jobs. Intimate partner violence is estimated to cost the U.S. economy between $5.8 billion to $12.6 billion annually, up to 0.125% of the national gross domestic product. That means there's between 21 and 60% of victims of intimate partner violence loses their job due to reasons stemming from abuse. Between 2003 and 2008, 142 women were murdered in their workplace by former or current intimate partners. This amount to 22% of the workplace homicide amongst women. These are some of the statistics that I'm reading from the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. I've been doing this since 12 a.m., 12:07 to be exact. I'll be on here all day until 11:59. Somebody need to hear this. Somebody need to know that domestic violence is not an option. Abuse is not an option. We got to love ourselves enough to say that I got to get out of this. And I got to get out at whatever cost it costs me. If that means you got to walk away with nothing but the clothes on your back, then walk away. Because then you walk away to see another day. If that means you got to call the police and the police got to come to your house and take him away in handcuffs, then so it be. See, what has happened, and we got to get out of this. I can't speak for no other community, but I'm going to speak up for my brown community because it's affecting me. Because I'm a part of this brown community and it's affecting me. And we don't want to talk about these things. We brush these things off. We hide them in the corner. We brush them up under the rugs. We put them in the closet. We put them wherever we can put them. We hide behind masks. I know because I wore mine for years in a domestic violence relationship. Thinking I can change somebody, can't change nobody. Who can I change? I ain't nobody. I don't have no power. The only power I have is Jesus. He the only person can change somebody. I can't do it. But I'm on here today. I'm on here all day. I see people come on, they jump off. They come on, they jump off. Had some people supposed to come on, they ain't come on. That's fine too. But it's not gonna stop me from doing what God told me to do. I'm not coming off until 11:59. I may jump off and get me some coffee. I may jump off and run to the restroom. Or I may put you some music on and let you play some music. Or I might have to charge my phone up because my phone don't want to charge while I'm on here. But it's all good. I won't be long before I be back. Just know that. I have 4 videos so far. We've been doing this all morning. The enemy been busy. Yeah, he's been busy because he don't want people to hear what we got to say. Again, I'm shouting out everybody that's no came on and been a part of this. I want to thank Shauna. She was my first co-host to come on. Even though she don't come on until 4, she came on earlier to relieve me so I can fix my first cup of coffee because the enemy tried to make me oversleep. So I didn't get up until like 10 minutes till, so I didn't get to get my coffee before I got on because I was trying to get on. So I had to just jump on. So it's been all out of whack. It's been all out of whack, but you know what? It's all good because God's still been moving. He's still been blessing. These videos are going to be available for people to watch. People going to be able to see what took place over the night while they were sleeping. They're going to see how we was praying for them, how we was standing on the wall. Because in the midst of me praying on the first video, my phone go dead. My phone was fully charged. My phone go dead. But nevertheless, it's okay. Because I'm not giving up. I'm not stopping. I can get kicked off 100 times. I can have to start over 55,000 times. It don't matter. I'm going to keep coming back until 11:59 because I said I was going to be on here till 11:59. And that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play some music for you guys. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to play some music for you. I'm going to keep pulling up statistics. I'm going to keep throwing these statistics at you because you know what? If you're out there and you're going through a domestic violence relationship, I want you out of it. I want you out of it. Because you have purpose too. Just like he's purposed us to be on here doing what we're doing today, to bring awareness to domestic violence. See, we just left out of Suicide Awareness Month. And then we leave suicide awareness and go right into domestic violence, and I'm affected by all of it. So I just keep on moving, and I just keep on letting him use me. So I committed to being up 24 hours. I said, you know what? I'm going to be up 24 hours. So you know what I've been doing? I've just been sharing his goodness. I've been sharing them, and everybody been coming on him to share. We've been having a hallelujah good time. That's what we've been doing. Ain't nobody mad but the enemy, but oh well. That's why he's supposed to be mad. Because he don't do nothing but come to try to destroy, kill, and hurt. And we don't need that. We trying to live. We trying to live. That's what we doing. I want life, L-I-F-E, life, more abundantly here on earth. And I want to do the things that I got to do so I can line up so that I can receive all of that and more. But we've been sharing. We've been sharing devotionals out the book. We've been sharing. We've been having a good time. Again, I want to thank Ashley for coming on and sharing her journeys. I want to thank Daphne for coming on and sharing, oh my God, all the amazing testimonies that she shared with us this morning. I tell you, the young lady that is a part of the organization back in Texas where Daphne's from. She's over in Germany right now, but she's from Texas. And the lady that's a part of the organization, she transcribed her testimony. And I get tears because God spared her life so she can share her testimony, so somebody today could hear her testimony. This lady, at the hands of her abuser, lost her sight and her ability to hear. See, it gets me upset. It gets me angry because people think they have power over you and authority over you, that they can control you and the things of you. You didn't even create me, but you want to try to control me. This world is getting sicker and sicker. But I tell you, I cry. I've been crying this morning. But you know what? It's tears of empathy. It's tears of wanting people to be healed, wanting people to be saved, wanting people to be set free, wanting people to come out of all that they're suffering through. Some of us are afraid because we don't know. But he didn't tell you, you got to know. You don't got to know. All you got to know is the word of God, and believe that the word is going to do what the word set out to do. If he can create this world with speaking the word, then why we can't use the same word that he spoke to the earth and created it? Why can't we use that same word and correct our lives and get this together, y'all? It's more than domestic violence, and people don't even they ain't getting it. They don't understand. It's more than domestic violence. This stems more. It's bigger than domestic violence, and people don't understand. It's bigger than domestic violence. It's bigger than the suicide. It's bigger than the books. It's bigger than all that, y'all. It's bigger than all that. It's bigger than all that. When we gonna get it? He wants your soul. He wants your soul set free. He wants you set free. We ain't getting it though. He want what's on the inside. All this flesh, all this material stuff, all these things. Oh, thank you, Holy Ghost. I understand now. I didn't even understand when you were showing it to me, but I understand now. Thank you, Holy Ghost. I know one day. Y'all, one day, seriously, I'm going to stop running. I am. I'm just tired of seeing people hurt. When we come on here every day, or whenever we come on here, we do radio shows, we do lives, we do all of this so that we can help. We want to educate, empower, and encourage individuals to come out of all that they're going through and know that they're not alone. Not alone. He said he sent the comforter. Who was the comforter? Jesus. Joshua. That's who he sent for us. But yet we don't love ourselves. We get bent out of shape about everything. We let people dictate to us who we are. When God already told you who you are. I want to pray for those that may be going through abuse right now. I want to pray for those that are doing the abuse. Because oftentimes we pray for the one being abused, but we don't pray for the perpetrator. We don't pray for that person that is bringing the harm. I don't make excuses for nobody, but hurt people hurt. And if they're never healed, if they're never set free, if they're never delivered, they're going to continue to hurt. And that's in them, what does it do? Jumps off on other people that they come in contact with. We interact with these people and then we wonder why we have mood swings. Okay, now. And then all of those, all of us, all of whoever's, those that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and out of the will of God, and we sleeping around and we doing all this. I'm gonna include myself because people sit up there. I can just imagine what they're saying. But that's what we do. We think we can do any and everything and please God. We can't do that. We can't do that. And then we know we have issues. We know we have stuff going on, and we just jumping from one relationship to the next relationship, taking one thing to the next, and not healing, not healing, not healing. Yeah, this stuff goes deeper than the physical stuff, the emotional, because there's like 5, might be 6 types of different types of abuse now. They done got clever with how they try to manipulate you and how they try to do. It don't always be physical abuse. Because before I got shot, there was no physical abuse. That's why I'm like, I never saw myself being abused. Never saw myself being mm-mm. Me, the Angela that y'all see now, that was the Angela back then. So I'm like, how did I even get? But I know how I got myself in this situation. We don't talk about it. I was in a dark place. Allowed a lot of stuff to get bottled in, filled up. A lot of people do that. When they need to be let go and let God, we internalize, we put everything in here, put everything on our heart, on our chest. And when it start getting too much for us, then we don't know what to do. And we start going to and from, roaming to and from, to and from, to and from. I don't even know where I'm going now. But I guess somebody needed to hear that. But I just want people to know that, you're not alone in this, that there is help. Remember, there's always a national, you have the national hotline for domestic violence. You can call 1-800-799-SAFE, and that is 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-7233. That's the number you can call. You can, if you have access to a computer, you can go on the computer and go to www.the hotline.org. And but if it's in immediate need and you're in danger, you feel your life is in danger, you need to call 911. That's who you need to call, 911. You don't need to call no hotline. You need to call 911 and get to a safe place. That's what you need to do. So I'm gonna go to state by state. I wanted to do the global because I want to see what some of the other countries and continents rank up against US. but they have state by state and they have individuals. So I'm in South Carolina, so I want to see what they reported because everybody reports different according to who they report with. But it should be around the same thing. It should be around the same thing. It shouldn't be that much off. Even South Carolina got it real. South Carolina is just they we are really behind. I am here in South Carolina. That's why I'm referring to South Carolina right now because it's saying that in South Carolina it says the law prohibits domestic violence misdemeanors from possessing firearms for a minimum of 3 years after conviction or or release from confinement, whichever is later. So if they can get that back after 3 years of being out or released or 3 years of the conviction. So, for example, if they get probation and probation does not apply to the dating partner, it's prohibited. Okay, dating partner judges have come out authorized but not required to prohibit responding to permanent proactive orders for possession of firearms. So after these people do something to somebody, it's domestic violence, they still can have a firearm. That's the kind of stuff that I was talking about that need to be changed. And then it says South Carolina can strengthen their laws to protect victims and survivors by permanently prohibiting domestic violence and dating violence, stalking misdemeanors from possessing firearms. That's correct, including same-sex couples. Prohibiting and responding to temporary and permanent proactive orders, including dating partners, from possessing firearms for a duration of the order. Requiring person prohibited due to domestic violence, dating violence, any other stalking or surrender all firearms they possess. That would be great. And then requiring law enforcement officers to confiscate firearms when responding to a domestic violence incident and requiring background checks for all firearms and transfer that. And they would do that, that would cut down on a lot of stuff, but they don't do it. But then you think about, what if they get these guns before they become violent? you know, you don't know what somebody gonna do. So how can that? I mean, it's all good that they want to do this. That's some good stuff that they talking about here in South Carolina. It would probably be a good scare tactic for some of them. They probably wouldn't want to do it after they whatever. But still, that I don't think that that's going to alleviate a lot of the problem that's taking place here. Again, I said if a person, just like with the sex offender, if you violate, if you're caught, you got to register. So if you have a domestic violence perpetrator, then why are they not required to register just like a sex offender will have to register? So that way, just like you can go on and check the registry and see if you got sex offenders in your neighborhood, you can go on and check and see if you got a domestic violence perpetrator in your neighborhood. And I think if they made these people go through strict counseling and therapy and required, not just go on and they say they go into anger management or go through these pre-approved stuff that they just no strict go through. They need to go through extreme something where they got to break down and get deep down in background. They need to go back to childhood type stuff. They need to go back to childhood and pull out some of that stuff that's bothering them from their childhood so they can deal with what's going on in their childhood. Because hurt people hurt. That's a known fact all over this world. Ain't gonna change. It's a known fact. You hurt, you don't care. You want to hurt somebody because you're hurting. That's known. Everybody does it. And if anybody say they don't, they lying. The truth ain't in them. They're not telling the truth. Truth is not in them. They are not telling the truth. And I'm talking about me right now. Cause me, when I was going through my dark period, I ain't care nothing about you. I ain't care nothing about I didn't care nothing about what nobody else thought. I didn't care nothing about your feelings. I didn't care nothing about helping you. I didn't care because you weren't helping me. That's how you think when you in that darkness like that. But now that I know better, I want to tell everybody, you ain't got to suffer through this by yourself. Let me tell you something. You are loved. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Why? Because God said you were. Not only that, he said he formed you. He created you before this world was formed. So he made you. Man didn't make you. So how can man dictate to you who you are and what's required of you? I'm saying I sit here today. I've heard so many stories about people in their domestic violence, in their situations. Oh my God! Like people have lost their lives. People have man. Oh my God! People lost their sights. People lost their hearing. People have been through. Why? Because I don't value my life, and I think if I beat somebody, it's gonna make me bigger. Who? What? What? That makes you a coward because that's what that's what that is. That's a coward move. And then if you want to fight somebody, why don't you go fight somebody that look like you? Stop trying to pick on somebody that don't look like you. Why would you even your the word of God? If you married, it say a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. That's what it say. So you shouldn't even be out there looking for no man. And if the man find you and you a spiritual woman, then you should attract what you send out. Your spirit should connect to the spirit that God has for you. But I know why I was connected to the spirit that I was connected to because I was in my flesh. All in my flesh. I was straight off the boat of Atlanta. I had just jumped off the plane of Atlanta and I was in South Carolina and I was all in my flesh when thinking about when thinking about doing right, mad because I had to go back to South Carolina. That's what that was, and my pride had got all in the way, and I was trying to fake the phone. That's what we do. Hide behind the mask, put on all them layers and layers and layers and layers. When we gonna let all that go and stop letting our people hurt and stop letting our people struggle? It's a lot of people out there. I should have so many people lined up to be a part of this event that we're doing today, this 24-hour marathon. There shouldn't have been no room on here. There should have been somebody different on here every hour. According to my Facebook page, anyway. Because according to my Facebook page, there's a lot of people out there that have organizations, that have podcasts, that have magazines, that have books, blogs, you name it, that deal with domestic violence. But we get so stuck in our ways, we get so stuck in whatever, and we get so caught up and stuck on self. Somebody need to move out their way and let God. That's what need to happen. But you want to be disobedient. You want to do what you want to do when you want to do it and how you want to do it. Keep doing it. And watch what happens. We're doing everything but what we supposed to be doing. I've been doing that for years too. I have. But let me tell y'all something. If you're catching it live, if you're catching it on replay, if you got to replay the replay. Huh. God is not pleased. He's not pleased with a lot of people that's doing this teaching. He's not pleased with a lot of people that's receiving the teaching. Because you receive the teaching and all you do is sit on. You don't do nothing that the teacher don't told you to activate that need to be activated. I know some people read their Bible every day. They pick up their Bible every day. But do they retain what they pick up out their Bible? I can tell exactly when. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Right now, I don't know. I was supposed to have someone on. I think they were supposed to be on from 10 to 2. But I think Dr. Carla is supposed to be on from 2 to 4. So she'll be on at 2. Y'all, my mouth is getting dry. This coffee is starting to get on my nerves. I need to go brush my teeth so I can get rid of this coffee. I think I'm about to go get on me some water so I can get some water going in my system. And I need to get up and walk. That's what I need to do, get up and walk. But I need to run. I didn't go on my 5-mile walk this morning. I said I was going to do it. But you know what? I'm definitely, if Shauna will let me, I might just let her just take over my platform and I'm gone. I'm going to go walk between 4 and 8. But yeah, I'm going to jump off really quick. Don't be mad. If somebody need, please go over and check out the videos again. What did I do with the... I'm supposed to be giving away a prize. Let's see. This is number 4. It's going to be a devotional journal, and it's just a journal where you can journal in the inside. So if you're alive right now and you type the word gift for and type the word fearless, you'll get this. So this is gift for. And word is fearless. So if you type, if this is in the comment section, fearless, then you will get this. So we have 4 videos, 4 gifts. And if you win a gift and you mention the pen, I'll send you a pen too. But you have to mention the pen to me when you claim your gift. You have to mention your free pen in order to get the free pen. So if you're not watching the videos, you're not going to know that. So we'll see who claimed the prizes. Again, I want to thank you guys that have been supporting me. Again, I have been on since 12:07 a.m. Y'all, I'm not sleepy. I'm not tired yet, but I know it's gonna come because the enemy is gonna he's gonna do that. The enemy's gonna come. So I already know. But I want you guys to be encouraged. Know I will be back. I'll be back on the 2:00 hour so I can let Dr. Carla on. You know what? I ain't even got to leave. I can just play music. So that way I can keep the line open. I can keep the line open so I don't have to close it. Because I only been on for 49. and we did do 3 hours on the last live was 3 hours. So I would like to stay open until Shauna come on. So it'll be the 4 hours. So we'll have 2 4 hours. Um we'll have 3 4 hour ones, I think. So I'm gonna play some music and I'm gonna step away, okay?
A kind word and a smile. Your inspiration station. Hallelujah on iHeartRadio. Everybody so let the church say, yeah, can I get a oh, what his plans are, what his word says. Let the church say, yeah. Make this your response to whatever he said. From the healing of your body to the raising of the dead. No matter how you feel or how your world is reeling, battle on through the night, cause you're gonna win the fight. Even in the night, standing at your rest, continue to say, cause your help is on the way. My God, I heard him. So let the church say, oh, lift your hands wherever you are and bless the church.
Amen. 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 Amen.
On iHeartRadio.
Yes. Amen. 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 Y'all, I've been at it. I've been at it. I've been at it. I've been at it. I'm not stopping. I still got 11:59. It's just 2 o'clock. Ain't even 2 o'clock yet. 1:30. 1:30. I still got a long time to go. But I'm here. Not going nowhere. I'm here. Not going nowhere. I said I was gonna be here till 11:59, and I'm gonna be here till 11:59. I'm not coming down off the wall. I'm standing on the wall for those that are in the midst of a domestic violence battle, those that are struggling right now, those that are facing the consequences of leaving a domestic violence relationship. When you leave, sometimes you still be going through after left, because you got to start over, and some people stay because they're afraid of what's gonna happen when they leave. Because I'm gonna tell you, I was put in a situation when I left. A lot of people said that they was gonna be there. A lot of people said that they had resources. A lot of people said a lot of things. But I'm grateful and I'm thankful for those that sold into me when I was going through. Those that believed in me when I was struggling. Those that didn't turn their back on me. They are the reason why I do what I do. They are the reason that I press daily. Because if it was not for them, I wouldn't be able to do none of the stuff that I do. Never. I'm going to share really quick some signs of abuse as reported by the NCADV, which is the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. I'm going to share some signs. I'm going to share the dynamics of it and why do victims stay. Anyone can be an abuser. They come from all age group, all cultures, all religion, all economic levels, and all backgrounds. They can be your neighbor, your pastor, your friend, your child's teacher, a relative, a co-worker, anyone. It is important to note that the majority of abusers are only violent with their current or past intimate partners. One study found that 90% of abusers do not have a criminal record, and abusers are usually law-abiding citizens outside of the home. What traits do abusers have in common? There is no one typical detectable personality of an abuser. However, they often do display common characteristics. An abuser oftentimes denies existence or minimizes the seriousness of violence and its effect on the victim or family of victims. An abuser objectifies the victim and often sees them as their property or sexual object. An abuser has low self-esteem and feels powerless and ineffective in the world. He or she may appear successful, but internally They feel inadequate. An abuser internalizes the causes of their behavior. They blame their violence on circumstances such as stress, their partner's behavior, a bad day, on alcohol, drugs, or other factors. An abuser may be pleasant and charming between periods of violence and oftentimes seen as a nice person to others outside of the relationship. What are some of the warning signs of an abuser? Red flags and warning signs of an abuser includes but are not limited to. Let me repeat. Red flags and warning signs of an abuser includes but are not limited to extreme jealousy, possessiveness, unpredictability, a bad temper, cruelty to animals, verbal abuse, extremely controlling behavior, an inadequate belief about roles of women and men in a relationship, forces sex, disagree. No, I'm sorry. This forces sex, disregard for their partner's unwillingness to have sex. Sabotage of birth control methods or refuse to honor agreed upon methods. Blaming the victim of anything bad that happens. Sabotage or obstruction of victim's ability to work or attend school. Controls all of the finances. Abuse of other family members, children, or pets. Accusations of victim flirting or others having an affair. Controlling of victims where and how they act. Demeaning the victim, either privately or publicly. Embarrassment or humiliation of the victim in front of others. Harassment of the victim at her work. If you know someone that may be experiencing some of these things, please, by all means, call 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. So why do you stay in an abusive relationship? Why do victims stay? When it is a vulnerable option, it is best for a victim to do what they can to escape their abuser. However, this is not the case in all situations. Abusers repeatedly go to the extreme to prevent the victim from leaving. In fact, leaving an abuser is the most dangerous time for a victim of domestic violence. One study found in an interview with men who have killed their wives that either the threats of separation by their partner or actually separation were most often the precipitating event that led to their murder. A victim's reason for staying with their abuser are extremely complex and in most cases are based on the reality that their abuser will follow through with their threats they have used to keep them entrapped. So the abuser will hurt or kill them. They will hurt or kill their children. They will win custody of their children. They will harm or kill the pets or others. They will ruin the victims financially. The list goes on. The victim in violent relationships know their abuser best and fully knows the extent which they will go to make sure that they have and can maintain control over their victim. Victims literally may not be able to safely escape or protect those they love. A recent study of intimate partner homicides found that 20% of homicide victims were not the domestic violence victim themselves, but the family members, friends, neighbors, persons who intervene, law enforcement, responders, or just simply bystanders. Additional barriers to escaping a violent relationship includes, but are not limited to, the fear that abuser's action will become more violent and become more lethal if the victim attempts to leave. Unsupported friends and family, knowledge of the difficulties of single parenting and reducing financial circumstances, the victim's feeling that relationship is a mix of good times, love, hope, along with the manipulation, intimidation, and fear, the victim's lack of knowledge or access to safe and support, fear of losing custody of any children if they leave or divorce the abuser, or fear the abuser will hurt them or kill their children, lack of means of support with financial access, children financially, or lack of access to cash, bank, or access, lack of having somewhere to go. No friends or family to help, no money, no hotel, fare, shelter programs, or full limited by length of stay. Fear of homelessness may be their only option if they leave. Religious cultural belief and practice may not support divorce or may dictate outdated gender roles and keep the victim trapped in a relationship. Belief that two-parent household are better for children despite of the abuse, which is a lie, and the truth ain't in them. Again, you have the 1-800-799-7233 number that you can call if you are in the midst of domestic violence and you want to get out. Contributing, making you a safe plan, a way to escape. So I'm going to read some questions that you should ask yourself. Ask yourself this question. When I have to talk to my abuser, I can. When I talk on the phone with my abuser, I can. I can make up a code word for my family, co-workers, friends, counselors, so that when to call for help, my code word is, when I feel a fight coming on, I will try to move to a place that is low risk for getting hurt, such as I can tell my family, co-workers, boss, counselors, a friend about the situation. I feel safe. So there's a list of about 25 questions that you can complete. Again, this is on the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Again, I am waiting for my 2:00 guest to come on. So I'm going to play you guys another song because I need to do something really quick for my upcoming show. So I'm going to play some more music while I do this really quick. Again, I want to thank you guys that are supporting and that are tuned in.
To do to be safe. I don't know that they will. I'm just saying we can't continue to every week have teams testing positive. But we'll stay prayerful, and I'll definitely keep you posted. Up next hour, I've got more of your favorite gospel hits, including Shirley Caesar and Anthony Hamilton. I love that duet. Also, Karen Clark Sheard is on the way, and music from Todd Delaney. Inspiration at home, inspiration at work, and everywhere you need it. Hallelujah on iHeartRadio. Life's thrown many punches, trying hard to knock me out. It's hard, but I'm fighting. Can't let my faith waver now. Change don't always feel good. Gotta know that it's worth keep standing. You give me the victory because you promised in your word that you will never leave me. You will never leave me nor forsake me. No. Through it all, you're with me. Through every sin, through every pain, through it all, you're with me. Yeah. Every mountain high, every valley low. Sometimes I feel alone. My heart is broken, shattered. It hurts. I'm trying. They say don't ask me questions, but Lord, why me? If you trust me with it, then you'll give me the victory. 'Cause I know what you said in your word, you would never leave me, never forsake me. Through every tear, through every cry. Thank you for being every mountain high, every valley low. Because I have your promise, I will stand strong. Your word requires that I'll be strong. Lord, to follow your presence, I'll receive all you need right there. Through it all, and when you said, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God through it all. Through it all. Stand on your every word. When my friends would say, my mama and daddy couldn't do it, I can call on you, Lord. You've been right there. You've been right there. Through it all. Worship you, blessed Savior, my God. From the depths of my heart, I'll give all praise and honor to you, matchless King. Worship you, blessed Savior. From the depths of my heart, I give all praise and honor.
Well. It is the 2 o'clock hour, y'all. I'm still hanging in there. I am hanging in there. I am hanging in there. I tell you, I have truly been blessed on today. I tell you, God has truly moved on today. I had the opportunity. Shauna came on with me. Actually, she came on the 1 o'clock hour. She just happened to be up, and I was on, and she came on and stayed for me while I made me some coffee because y'all, I almost overslept, and I had my alarm set. So how do you oversleep with an alarm set? I just don't get it. And I was prepared. That's what gets me. But anyway, I got on, and like always, the enemy always try to come. But I tell you, I have been blessed today, y'all. I have truly been blessed. Um, Daphne from the Most Daphne Show came on. Her and Ashley, they came on and shared with me for a couple of hours. I tell you, they blessed my spirit all the way from Germany. Um, and I tell you, when God is in the midst, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So I want you to know that if you're out there and you're in a domestic violence relationship or you're going through abuse, know that you're not alone. All those people that I just mentioned, we've been there, or we know someone that has been there. And we want you to know that we overcame. We made it out. And we want you to know that there's a way out. And today, hopefully, you've been provided some information that would assist you in getting out of that relationship. Because your life is valuable. You have purpose. Because Jeremiah 29:11 says that. He said, I have a plan for you to prosper you, for you to be in good health, for you to have hope in the future. And just to show us, he said it. His word cannot return to him void, so he's going to watch over that. He's going to watch over that. I see my guest, my co-host for the hour is here. And I am going to give her an opportunity to come on and introduce herself and share how she wants to share. That's how we've been moving today. That's how we moving. We moving however the spirit wants to move. So I'm going to bring my co-host up for the hour, Dr. Carla Peters. Hi. You're on mute.
Am I off?
Yeah. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am doing great. I love that purple lipstick.
Thank you. You know I have to represent. Purple is the
Yeah.
color for domestic violence. So yes. So it is an honor to be here. I clicked on this morning around 12 something. It was almost 1. And I was fighting my sleep, so I was like, I'm gonna give up the ghost. Because I hadn't been to sleep, because I was like, I'm gonna try and I couldn't do it. I was like, but I know how you feel, because you remember I told you I used to do every 3 months 24-hour prayer calls, and the next one is up in December. So I know what you're dealing with. So, but it's an honor, it's a blessing to be here with you on today to share with the men and women.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that the men are listening to this too, because whether they're being abused or not, but they still need to be aware for their sister, their mother, their associate, just a woman in their life.
But
And
let me tell you some statistics that I shared this morning that I did not know. When I was reviewing these statistics shocked me.
oh yeah, I know them. I know them. They are, and I don't know if
Michigan, men, 49%.
yeah. Have you?
Double the women.
I can see that. I can see that for a couple of reasons.
And then New York, in New Jersey.
And it's crazy, and then it's gone up since the pandemic.
It has. They said 20%.
Yeah, 20%. And it's because you couldn't be alone before the pandemic. Now you have to be together, so it just takes it up a notch. And then of course he or she, more likely is the man, that can't deal with it because they're on lockdown and have to look at you and mad with you because they on lockdown and wants to act really crazy, even more so.
And that's what's been happening. I read an article. This happened over in China. This husband, she said she'd been being abused for 6 years. And she had her 11-month-old daughter in her arm, had just took her out of the high chair, and he took that high chair and beat her until the legs broke off. She went in the next room and called the police. The police came, but don't you know they didn't arrest him? They did not arrest him, and she was bruised all up. And the evidence of the broken chair that he beat her with, the high chair, was laying right there. Not only that, she filed for a divorce, and then they delayed the thing because of COVID-19. She was still in the relationship, had to still stay there with that man, in the house with that man.
Mm-mm-mm.
So people are dealing with a lot.
A lot of
We
stuff.
don't know what people are dealing with.
Right. I know some people have been trying to get out, and as well as divorce. And of course, because of COVID, it's like been hard, been really hard. But we just have to keep praying and keep encouraging them to keep pressing,
That's
keep
it.
keep pressing. One day you'll be able to rest and be at peace, knowing, okay, all of my pressing, all of my fighting for my freedom didn't go down in vain, because it's worth it.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because your life has value. You are worthy. You are more than enough because God said you were. And,
Yes.
and you have to know that.
And that's one thing that I tell the women all the time, and the men. Take yourself off the clearance rack. Know who you are. You have to know who you are. And a lot of times, and I can say this, is that a lot of women that I've come in contact with is that they fell into it because of growing up. That's what they saw. You know, um, someone was asking me yesterday, someone that knows me and my husband, my ex-husband. And when she found out about when I started sharing, and she was like, none of us had no idea that he was that type of person. I said, of course not. And she was like, what made you all go to Houston instead of Michigan, to Detroit? I said, because Detroit was too far to me. I told him, Detroit too far for my mama to come to me, not knowing, that he would be doing, abusing me. Because I'm from Louisiana. So Houston is like 6 hours away. Detroit is a whole lot further. But the thing is that I didn't think that I would end up with a man that was going to be abusing me for 2 decades and do all the things that he did. But us women, a lot of us, number one, let me go back here. I grew up in a happy home, all of that. We went on vacations. We went shopping every weekend. I had a good life. I had a good life with my mom, my dad. So with my ex-husband, it was like, we was together for like 3 years before we moved to Houston, but I didn't notice anything until like 2 to 3 years after we moved to Houston. And as time went on and I realized, and I'm like, he had to get me comfortable here and away from there in order for him to start doing what he was doing. And it all starts about control. And a lot of women believe that if he's not hitting me, then it's not domestic violence. Yes.
Lie.
Yes, it is. It's control. If he's controlling you for his timing you, because he used to time me. If you go to the store, and he thinks you should be back in 30 minutes, that's control. Because in that 30 minutes time, you're not back in 30 minutes.
It's a problem.
It's a serious problem. And it's sad, excuse me, to live that way. And I beat myself up for years after my divorce of why did I stay so long? But I knew why. But I still beat myself up. Why did you stay so long? And when I'm asked that on interviews, the bottom line was I wanted more than one child, and I wanted them children to have the same parent, same father. Number one. Number two is that I wanted my children to be raised by both parents in the household. That right there was a mistake. And when I come to my realization, I was like, they can still be raised by both parents, just in separate households. But by the time that I came to that realization, our oldest daughter may have been out of school, high school, maybe 3 years by this time. And the youngest was in middle, and the baby, he was in elementary school. But I got out. The good thing is that I did get out, because I believe if I would have stayed any longer, it wouldn't have turned out to where I'm living life to the fullest and enjoying Clara. And that's where I be wanting to encourage the women. God didn't put you here to be no punching bag, to be no abused verbally. He put you here for a purpose, and it is not that. That is not part of your purpose. But as I got out of that relationship, God showed me, you have to talk and you have to tell and show these women that there is life after abuse. There is life doing abuse. And life doing abuse is you getting to know who you are so you can fight your way to who you are. Because one thing that we do, Sister Angela, is that we lose us. We forget about who we are. We become mama and wife. We become whoever he wants us to be. That what I can say he, because when I normally say he, I'm talking about God. But this time I'm talking about he is that man. We become he wants us to be. And I can remember a few years ago, since we was divorced at this time. He went there with me, and I told him, I said, baby, I am not that Clara anymore. You can't step to me that way. Who you think? Again, I am not that Clara. You can't go there with me. You can't, because I have grew a whole lot. I have grown a whole lot. I was about to say something, but I ain't gonna say it. But I had to tell him, I was like, I'm not her.
Mm.
And at one time he did go, and my son had to tell us about, she's not that Clara no more. I don't know where that Clara you had at. I don't know her. None of us know her. But this one right here, it's a wrap. So, but it's hard for him to deal with me now because I'm not that Clara. He know he cannot say, he know he can't say something, then I'm going to go along with him. I found my voice and he didn't like it. He don't like it.
And that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is. But I've talked to a lot of women lately, especially during this pandemic, even with just being on, lockdown. I get a lot of calls in reference to domestic violence. Some people just calling to ask me questions. They're not going through it, but they suspect someone they know is, so they're asking questions, which that I love, that they're reaching out to ask questions so that they know what they can do from there. But there's some women, they're press charges, but then they'll turn around
and then they'll drop them.
I'm like, come on, you can't do that. I said, that's the issue.
A waste of time and resources.
Yes. And then one lady asked me, talking about, well, why is it that the police they act like that they don't want to help? I said, if you have called them out and pressed charges and you did it more than one time, and then you call again and you want to know why they're not helping, because you keep dropping the charges. How are they going to help you if you're not willing to help yourself? You got to help you first. And the first way of helping you is don't drop the charges. Press the charges and keep it going. Follow the protocol, because otherwise he's going to keep doing what he's doing. But then they make excuses, and I get it. But that's my child's father, my children's father. I love him. Well, he didn't think about that when he did that to you. And sometimes I hate saying that, but I had to be hard on me. So if it sounds harsh or hard to someone else, it's just the reality. Love don't hurt. If he loves you, he wouldn't hurt you.
Exactly.
And sometimes I just be wanting to, shake some people. Like, come on now. But he's a good man. He take care of me and all of that. I understand that. But if he loved you, he would get help. And in getting that help by himself, not with you, he gets help on his own. You get counseling on your own. And then y'all can do couple counseling if you choose to. But the only way you need to stay with him is after he have done all the work. Then maybe you can visit that again and see about giving y'all relationship a try. I said, but me personally, I wouldn't do it, because who's to say he wouldn't snap?
It's hard. It's hard. I tried it. I tried. It's hard, and I couldn't do it. So I had to leave finally for good. I couldn't do it. I mean, when I tell you I tried even after being shot.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah. I tried, and I just couldn't do it, because the trust, the protection, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. There was no love, because in the back of my mind, all I was thinking, if you love me, how could you do this to me?
Right.
And I'm changing, trying to go to counseling, didn't work, because deep down inside, you wasn't ready to change. Because if you was ready to change and you wanted to change, then it would have worked.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I couldn't do it. I had to walk away. I couldn't do it. And that's why I tell anybody, once they present themselves the first time, ain't no taking it back. Ain't no recovering, because that trust has been broken. And you can go to all the counseling you want to go to. Just that fear. I'm talking about, I can see this person when when I go in that area, and it's just something, just just make me just be like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I stayed. I can't believe I suffered through that. I can't believe I actually thought I could change somebody.
I had all of those. After my marriage, it was a few years afterwards, and my oldest grandchild, we was at my oldest daughter house, and my ex-husband was there doing something, and I pulled up, and then as I was getting out, him and I wasn't speaking, and my granddaughter, she was like, I was like, okay. I said, so I went on and spoke to him, whatever. And my grandbaby was like, I really want y'all to get along, but she didn't know what was going on because she was younger then. But she's grown now, so she knows. But so I tried to become his friend, so that when we're around the kids and the grandkids, that there's no tension.
Mm-hmm.
About a few months later, he had, got my number, and he called me and he asked me to go to the movies, something we've never done as a couple, period. We might have did it with the kids. He reluctantly went. But anyway, so we went, and it was like going with a stranger. I mean, a total stranger, not a man that I was been with for over 20 years. I had 3 children for. It was like a total stranger. And as we left the movie, and I'm driving home, and God kept putting in my spirit, because I'm fighting him. I'm fighting God. I'm like, I'm not calling that man, telling him that. And he kept putting it in my spirit. I was like, okay, let me call him. So I called him and told him what dropped in my spirit, me knowing that I would never take him back. People said never say never, but so I called him and told him, I said, God said that if you want your wife back, then you need to do the work. What that means, he got a whole attitude. I said, I'm just delivering a message. And he just went off and started cussing. I just just gave him the dial tone. I just delivered the message, period. And I'm like, I'm talking to God. I was like, what do you plan to do with him? Because I'm not going back to that unless a serious miracle was going to happen. But this man even have told me, talking about leave the church and come back to me. Are you crazy? I'm not one of those holier than thou people. I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher, but I'm not one of those people that is so holier than thou. You get what I'm saying? But I know people change, but I was not about to be caught up in that change. Because in my mind, if I was to get back with him, all I could think about is that I probably would have to sleep with one eye open and one eye closed. Who want to live like that? Not me. I have found peace with sleeping at night. I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't found peace with being able to leave my house and come back and not worry about, oh, you've been gone too long, pop. No. So that's one of the things that I really want to get to the women head. You want peace. God put you here for peace, joy, love, happiness. He didn't put you here to be in bondage, to be unhappy, to be, only happy when you're with other people. No. Because the only time that I was happy when we were together is when I was not at home with him, when he wasn't at home, or if it was just me and my children, period. But other than that, as soon as he walked through the door, it's just like.
Been there. I understand.
And that's not a feeling to have.
It's not.
It's not a feeling to have. But those statistics, I'm telling you, 20 people, men and women, every second, 20. That's a lot. That's 10 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
That is being abused. 20 a second every day. But for 10 million, that's a lot of people. And our community, we have to get out of this mindset of what goes on in the house stays in the house. We have to get out of that, because yeah, you're not saying you tell everything that goes in your household, but if you're hurting, if you've been abused, you need to talk. I was asked when I finally called my parents, called my mom and told her, she was like, but you always look good. The kids always look good. Y'all seem like y'all was happy. Nice house, nice cars. I was like, yeah, and yeah. I said, but your baby being severely abused. And I said, it's a couple of people that you've met, coming to Houston, that have seen the bruises, that has taken the pictures, and that has been witnesses to what all that has taken place. And she's like, baby, why didn't you call? I said, because I have a dad and two brothers that have never been to jail. And I didn't want nobody to die on my watch or go to jail because of my choice. That was my thinking. But I said, they won't ever have to worry about that again, because that will never happen, period. Even if it means me being by myself for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm not dealing with that anymore. And I'm always getting asked, well, why aren't you married? I've been asked. But God removed. And I'm following his lead this time around. I was a teenager when I got with my ex-husband. I chose that man. I'm doing it the right way this time. I'm letting God choose him. My voice trying to go. So that's one thing that I'm definitely doing for me, is to not go ahead of him this time around.
That's it.
How have you managed to keep it moving since then?
Okay, so I'm here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I've been pouring myself into work and trying to make a difference in other people's life and sharing my story so people don't have to go through what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been doing, and staying in my word, because I can't go back. I cannot go back any of the roads that I've been down. I can't, because that'd be turning my back on God.
Right.
He delivered me out. He's delivered me out. He set me free. I can't go back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that right there, it speaks volume. And that's what I'm always saying too, is that because he set me free, there's no reason why I shouldn't be happy. I shouldn't be celebrating him every day. I should not wake up. I should wake up every morning with a grateful heart, with a thankful heart, because he gave me a new day. He gave me a new day with peace, to wake up in peace and not in pieces. And because I can remember many days I waking up almost, because this is like, I got to deal with this again, but it's good that me and you and a lot of other women are doing what we're doing now, because I can go back to when I was in my situation.
Nobody.
You didn't hear this. So women really didn't know if there was really somebody out there to help them. But what gets me and what hurts me sometimes is that you start helping someone, and she allows him to sweet talk her and go back, and he do her worse than he had did her before. And it's like she's brainwashed, and she's like, and a lot of women, they fear of being alone, and that's why they stay too. I've seen that happen. They'll go back because, well, ain't nobody else gonna want me. At least he want me. At least he love me. No, you should love and want yourself. I don't care if no man ever wants to love on me. I'ma love me. It starts with you loving you. So a lot of women, they're not loving themselves, and they just settling. And
that's it.
I have me busy if I end up saying I'm bored, because between ministry, domestic violence, number one, on top of my list, I have 3 children. They're grown, but we interact every day. I don't see them every day. I wish I did, but we don't live that close to each other. But then I have my grandchildren. So before COVID, every weekend we was doing, somebody was getting together. But that's why I can't wait for this to be gone.
Me too. 'Cause,
I,
man, I ain't been able to do no events, and I love, like, I can't do none of my author events, so we can get together and just, cause I've met so many new authors, and I ain't been able to do nothing. I've been stuck in this house since April. I ain't been nowhere since April. I go to Walmart and to what is it? Walgreens. I was finna say CVS, but Walgreens, and that's it. I don't go nowhere.
about the same with, I've been grocery store, CVS, and Walmart, and
And Aldi's. Forget about Aldi's.
oh, I'm on by my daughter's house, but that's it. One of my daughter's house, but they've all come over here a few times. But other than that, still social distancing and everything. I'm just,
Mm-hmm. But I'll be glad when this is over with.
I definitely will. I have a new grandbaby. She was like 4 months old when Corona started.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling my daughter the other day, the oldest daughter, this is her baby. I was like, now, me and her by now, we've been at the park, we've been here, we've been there, we've been somewhere everywhere. She's like, I know. I said, I'm just missing, doing with her that I did with the other ones, when they was first born. I said, but that's okay. When this is all over, it's gonna be on.
Yeah.
Because
I'm ready for this to be over with.
Mm-hmm. So, and I look forward to us getting together also because I was in one of your books. What was it, about 3-4 years ago?
You were.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. After the Storm. Is that what it was? The name of
The Storm is Over, Walking in Purpose, and I tell you, after that book release, whew,
mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
But God.
But God,
Mm.
after that book release, it seemed like all hell broke loose in my life.
Wow.
I lost my dad that following year in May.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was hospitalized that year in June. I was in the hospital for 21 days.
Oh, wow.
And then when I got released from the hospital, I was under doctor's care until December.
Mm.
That's why y'all didn't see me on Facebook.
We did have a talk, and you did tell me about that because I was like, where's she at? I'm missing her. Where is she at?
I just come back to Facebook in January this year.
Mm-hmm. And when you came back, we did a little talking on the side.
Mm-hmm.
DM, and I was like, and then you did come on and you did a Facebook Live you shared a little bit of why you had been gone and everything. Was happy to see you back, and you came back full force, full force.
I just asked to be used. That's all. I just asked to be used.
And he's definitely doing that. And you had one of my friends on here with you earlier, Daphne.
Mm-hmm.
That's my girl. She's in Germany, but I love seeing her adventures. But yes, that's one of my good friends.
Yeah, she shared this morning. I mean, she shared, she prayed, she shared. We had a hallelujah good time. We had a
That
good
that's good. That's good.
sure did. It was amazing. I tell you, it was amazing.
And I thank you for doing what you're doing this 24 hours, because it's not easy doing a 24-hour anything. Because mine was, I had 24 speakers to come because every hour it was a different person to come on. I just let them handle it, and I did whatever. Um, but you've been going strong. Normally, I'm still on, still intertwining, but I gave them that hour, and I just pulled back. But you've been doing it the whole 24 hours, even if somebody's on here. That's a lot, and that's what people don't realize. It takes a lot out of you, but knowing that you're doing it for someone and it's not about you, that's a blessing. Is truly is a blessing. And I know you may not get information today, you may not get anything tomorrow, you may not get anything until December, but someone is going to be blessed by this. and it's going to give them the courage to walk out of whatever that situation is. It's going to even probably give them the courage of not committing their own self-suicide, you know, because there's some women that's dealing with domestic violence that decide, I can't do it no more. If he's going to beat me, I might as well just going to kill myself. Honestly, I thought about doing that, but then I thought about, I can't leave my children here with this. No, I can't do that. I can't do it to them. And because of them, that's the only reason why I kept moving, because otherwise I would have, because he put me out on the freeway at 2 a.m. I would have just let him died. He beat me, then put me out. I would have just laid there and died. But because he had my 3 children with him, I couldn't do it. So we, as the advocates, the survivors, the overcomers, we have to keep praying. We don't know, someone has said something, but you don't know their names. We don't need to know their names. We just need to pray that God protect any woman that is dealing with domestic violence, no matter if it's financial, control, emotional, verbal. Just protect them. And I've spoken to someone before, and they assume that just because they like to control the money, that they didn't even think that they were doing anything wrong. And I was like, yes, you are. So she has to work all week and get a paycheck, and you just give her allowance from her paycheck? That's not the way it works. Yes, you're the head of the household, but that's not the way it works. What if she run out of that $40 and had to use it for, a lot of different things, and she need gas and we're around? Then what? Their logic just didn't make sense. But that's them trying to be and have control. And most women think, well, I'm submitting and doing what God said do. You submit, but God didn't tell you to do that, to have that done to you like that. No, that's not the way it's supposed to be done. But it took a minute to get.
And then a lot of us, we not submitting to no godly man. We submitting to anything. He wants you to submit to a godly man. He don't want you to submit to this fleshly stuff. He don't want that. That's not what he want for us. He want us to submit, but he want us to submit to the right man,
the man,
godly man. Not know anything. And that's what we got to understand. We got to stop accepting any and everything in our life. We have to have a spiritual relationship with God, so we know that this is of God.
Exactly. But it goes back to also to the self-esteem factor. How's your self-esteem? How's that? And a lot of women did not realize, because they thinking, they don't have no issue there. But as time goes on, they see, oh, wow, I really do have an issue there. And then they discover, because I tell them, I've done the 40-day soul fast several times with a group of women. And usually I do it like every year. And I haven't done it this year at all. Usually I've been done it twice by now. But I haven't done it all this year. And doing that, one of the things that I tell, you need to dig deep. You need to ask hard questions. And, they don't be wanting to, but when they do, when I push them to do it, it's hard, because it's a reality check to you, like, wow. I'm like, yeah. And that's what no matter who you are, you need to ask yourself hard questions. Even as God release you from something and you keep going higher and higher, you shifting gears or whatever, you still have to evaluate yourself so you can make sure you don't get back in the same trap that you was in before. And that's one thing that we as a person, not just women, but men too, has to understand. We have to keep evaluating ourselves to make sure we're not going back to our old ways and allowing anything or anyone to use us or abuse us or take us for granted. Because as soon as a person, because I'm gonna go here, there's even work abuse. So a person know that they can get over on you, they're gonna take that and run with it.
I know. Trust me, I know. I seen it happen on the job before. Seen it happen. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about and they, when I say took advantage of this girl, she would be in there working and they know it was illegal. And if anybody had reported them, they would have been in jail.
Mm.
That place would have been closed. Had that girl in there working, doing overtime and paying her regular time. And she would do it all the time. And I asked her, I said, why you ain't on these people? Why you ain't, like, this is the only job she could get. She acted like it was the only job that she could get. Baby, you can go work somewhere else and make what you're worth, because you're worth more than what you're allowing them to give you.
Mm-hmm.
They call you in when I wish they would call me in. I wish they had to call me in and tell, and I just closed for you, and then you making me come in. You ain't finna make me do nothing.
Right,
You can
right.
make that girl come into work like that. She could be just no closed. She could have just been closed the store down the night before, and then they want her to come in and open up. And the flip her down, the manager will call. She know not to call me and ask me to go open no store when I just closed.
That right there is not.
Why would you do that to somebody? And this woman had kids, 3.
Oh wow, no.
And you doing this to her. I'm talking about, and didn't care that this woman had kids at home. Sometimes that lady, and then she would make her, if she had to come to work and she had nobody to watch her kids, she make her bring her kids and her kids sit out there in the library. They ain't finna do that to me.
Oh no,
This is, honey,
no.
please. I don't care. Some
That was.
people settle for anything. No. So you got to know that you have value. You have to put value on yourself. You have to know your worth. You have to know your worth. You have to know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made in God's image, not man. Oh, I keep telling people all this stuff that we got, all this name brand stuff and all this stuff gonna pass away. But it's what's it's down in there that you better be preparing for. That's what you better be preparing for. Because that's what's gonna live on forever. And where do you want it to reside? That's
Exactly.
the question you better be asking. Where do you want it to reside?
Because one thing I don't live in hell and die and go to hell.
Okay?
No. Mm-mm.
Cause people playing with it. People playing with it. That's what they doing. They playing with it. They don't think it's real. I told, if you don't believe it's real, I said you really better you need to read your Bible. If you don't think it's real, you need to read the Bible. Because you ain't finna tell me that it's in the Bible and you picking and choosing what you want to read out the Bible. Now we ain't doing that.
You can't do that.
We're not doing that.
And I'm seeing that so much, you want to pick and choose, and then someone, is like, when no sin is no greater than, I understand what you're trying to say, but again, you cannot say, oh, I'm going to do this and he can forgive me. Yeah, he's going to always forgive you, but why are you going to keep doing the same thing?
Knowingly.
Right.
Knowingly.
Right. I'm like, no, you don't do that. You know better. And then two, are you setting an example for the people that is attached to you? Well, who's attached to you? I said, well, I'm going to go here with you. I said, you never know who God has assigned to you. I said, God has people assigned to us every day that we don't even know about. And I'm just going to even go here. It's somebody that's going to see this live, see some of the recordings that you've already done in this 24 hours. That's attached to you as well as me. And when they see this live, those lives, they are going to realize this is what he had been saying, who I need to connect with. Okay, but let me check her out. And if they see anything a little bit weary or whatever, they're going to be like, then what happens? You done fail on God, in God's eyes, because you wasn't doing what you're supposed to be doing, because he have you on assignment. There's so many of us that he have on assignment. Well, he have everybody on assignment that, higher assignments, depending on what they are, who they do. I mean, what they do. Their assignments, because all of our assignments is a little bit higher than others. Okay, there's some that's right up here. And when you're not holding that position and doing what you're supposed to do in that position the way you should, those that God has watching and attached to you, is going to take them in the opposite direction, because you fail to do what you're supposed to be doing according to God. You decide that you want to do what man say. I had listened to a live of mine that I did 2 or 3 years ago, And in that live, I shared just what I just shared. I went to a tea, and this young lady had told me she had been watching me. I've never met her, never seen her before, ever. And I only went up to her because I like what she, her necklace, her pearl. And as we proceeded to talk, she finally caught up with me towards, so we can talk. And she told me that she had been watching me for a long time. And she said, I've never seen you sway. She said, I see people sway all the time. She said, but you've never swayed. Just those words alone. Now I went to this event, heard people speak and everything, but just what she said blessed me, like, because I'm like, wow, I already know people watch me, but to hear her say what she said was that you've never swayed. That really and truly blessed me. And I tell people all the time, you got to be understanding of your mission in life. You got to be understanding of your anointing. You got to be understanding of who he has called you to be. Because if you don't, you're going to miss the mark. When you out here speaking to these ladies with domestic violence, sexual violence, suicide awareness, whatever, you got to really be mindful and got to be, number one, careful of your words, because your words speaks volume too, of how you try to go and share something with them, because a certain word may trigger something to where it's a wrap. So we just really have to be all around grounded in the word and know our audience. And I say our audience in the way to where who he's assigned us to. Because he signed us to a mass of people. But we need to know, we need to understand our assignment in order to understand that audience, which is that mass of people that he has assigned us to. Now, me and you both may be assigned to both men and women, which, I know I am, and I know you are as well. But then at the same time, I'm assigned to domestic violence to help those women as well. So it's like you got to know it all on all levels. When I got a call, I'm going to go here. When I got a call, it's about 3-4 years ago, from my ex-husband's cousin. Well, not a call, a message from his cousin, one of his cousins, in reference to a friend of hers. And before we can connect to the friend, she was gone. He killed her. Those really hurts me. But at the same time, he had some cousins that did not want him with me because they thought I was not knowing that he was abusing me. Because they had him up here on a pedestal, thinking he's all of that, but not realizing that there were some demons on the inside of him. I still have yet to try to figure out, well, I don't stop trying to figure out what caused it. I didn't see anything within, his family, his parents, unless it's something that happened when he was much, much younger. But that's the trigger for the women to see. I'm going to go here. I like when Tyler Perry has said, go to the family reunions. Go to the family reunions and you're going to know and see who you working with and who you dealing with. Which is now kind of hard because I don't think they really do family reunions too much.
Nobody do family reunion. I'm telling you, my family stopped doing them in the 80s.
What?
They stopped doing them in the 80s. The last time I've been to a family reunion, I was probably had to been probably about 10 or 11. I remember 10, 11.
Oh, wow.
My dad's side, I can't remember going. I only remember going to 2. On my dad's side, only 2.
Oh, wow.
When I tell you they don't, I don't know. Like I'm telling you, literally, Chris Paul is my cousin that played basketball. I didn't even know he was my cousin until my great aunt passed, which is his great grandmother.
Oh.
Never met him before a day in my life until the funeral.
My God.
they changed the time of the funeral, and I was like, why did they change the time of the funeral? And then when I got there, with so many people there, like I'm like, where all these people come from? Now we got a big, mind you, we do got a big family, but I'm like, I know our family ain't this big.
It was like double the
It was triple.
triple. Oh,
One, I had to sit in the pulpit behind the preachers.
wow.
Yeah, that's the family had to sit up there. That's how packed the church was. After the whole left side of the church was full with our family, and then the runoff room that they got right here on the side was full with nothing but family.
Oh, wow. That was a lot. Yeah, because of him.
Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm.
And now my brother was like, "You didn't see Chris Paul?" I was like, "Who is Chris Paul?" He said, "Your cousin play for." At that time, he was playing for Louisiana Hornets. They were the Hornets then. Since then, he don't went to the Clippers. I don't know who he with now. I think he with OKC.
Okay. But yeah, reunions anymore, and maybe if they did, it'll kind of help, and you know, in areas to where the men and the women maybe they an issue even about themselves because they see such happiness, such love, you know. I don't know, but I think it will be nice. I know I tried to do one about 5-6 years ago on my dad's side. One of my aunts, the oldest living aunt, had one. She was like, "Can you get this done before I die?" And I didn't pull it off because everybody wasn't. They wasn't compromised. I'm gonna say compromised, but they wasn't trying to because they didn't know me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you know, much older than a lot of them. And it's like, well, I don't know her. I don't know who she is, and da da da, you know, whatever. And I'm like, I'm doing this for auntie. It's not about me, you, and you know, whatever. And lo and behold, she ended up passing. I was like, I let it go. I just let it go. I was like, well, my dad is deceased, you know, so I'm just doing this for Amy and them. You know, it would be nice to have it, but one thing that families do need to get back to is because a lot of people don't know who they are. And if you don't know who you are, how it's kind of hard for you to really be whole. That's the thing too. A lot of men and women, because they don't know who they are, it's hard for them to be whole. So when that sweet talking man or even a woman come around, they just fall for the okie dokie.
Everything out the door.
Everything out the door. Because they just received something that they was looking for, you know. And I'm thinking, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking back to when I got with my husband, my ex, is that my brother kept saying to my, don't want to go out with him. I was like, no, to my please, because he keep bothering me. I'm like, no. And then I was forced to go out with him to go out. I have an aunt that's close to my age, so went out with her and her boyfriend. And of course, that was his cousin. One thing led to another, and I just fought that, and found out like, okay, fine. Lord Jesus, if I would have been strong enough to tell my brother, no, I'm not going out with him, you know, period. But all I can
If we only go with our first instinct, because I'm telling you, my first instinct was don't go out with this dude.
Yep, if only. And all I can say is that I have 3 amazing children, and as of right now, 7 amazing, wonderful, loving grandchildren who loves their G mama to death, and G mama loves them to death. But that's it. Is my 10-piece right there. You know, I'm like, that's the only good thing from that relationship. Other than that, nope. And far as this show is concerned and what we're talking about, not just starting on today, but as we talk every day. But October is a month set aside to celebrate domestic violence. And as we go about this month, and I've been encouraging men and women to share daily. If you don't want to type anything in your status or whatever, share my stuff so someone can see it on your timeline. Because trust me, there's someone that needs to see it on your timeline.
Mhm.
You know, and a lot of people be afraid to share because they don't want anyone to think that they're dealing with that situation. Let them think that. People probably think some crazy stuff anyway. But if you believe in your heart that you can help somebody, put it on your timeline, because you never know who you could be saving. You could be saving 2 or 3 women, or even a man. Who knows? You know, but we all need to know that there's somebody out here that can help me. I can remember back in I think it was 2012 or 2013, I wrote an article, and a lady saw my article, and I was talking about life after abuse, and she was just coming out of a 20-year marriage. She just divorced, and she was like, "I didn't know that you can have life after abuse." Yes, you can. You can. Just because that died, that don't mean you die with it. What you need to do is, okay, find who you are.
That's it.
Go back to the beginning, because God, that's what he did with me. He took me back to the beginning. And I had to work my way through so I can see who Claire was. Now, what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do, I couldn't do it anymore because I was past the age to enlist in the military or to become a police officer. So I couldn't.
Why you? That's what I want. I said if I had, if I could have did things, let me tell you. Let me tell you what happened. I don't turn my light out. Let me tell you what happened to me. Like I used to be a correction officer, and I said that I was going to go on and be a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had said. I was going to go on and be a police officer. I wanted to go. I was going to join the military, and I was a year past the age. If I hadn't, if I had joined the military, I would have never met my husband though, and I wouldn't have been here to share this journey. So you know, I said maybe I had to go through this. Maybe it wasn't meant for me to be a correction officer and be a police officer.
Right. But I'm gonna tell you, this right here, speaking out about it, whoo, God beat me up on that one because I was fighting. I was like, He said, okay, show you. I'm gonna show you. He kept telling me what he wanted me to do, and I kept doing it, but I kept doing it the way I wanted to do it. And I'm like, no. And like, it started with ministry. I never would accept my calling. So at the church that I belonged to at the time, there was a group of women that was like, let's do praise dance ministry. And we did. So I became a part of a praise dance ministry. And he kept telling me, he said, I told you. No. And I'm like, okay. So I kept going against the grain. He said, okay, I'm going to sit you down from it. He set me down from it. I had ended up under doctor's care. He set me down from it. When I went back to church, of course, I couldn't do the praise dance. So what had happened is that I had to end up, before they praise dance, speak. And after the 3rd or 4th time, I was like, oh, you really clever. That's how you're going to do it. So since I can't praise dance, I have to speak before they go up and praise dance. You see what he did?
But let me tell you, me, and I ain't even see. I'm still going through this. He doing this to me too, cause I know I got a calling on my life. I've been doing it for a while now, but I ain't want to do it. So I've been being disobedient. So I decided I wanted to start a youth program working with kids. So I started the youth program. So that's when he introduced me to books. He knew he would get me with books, introduce me with books, and then he introduced me with the peoples, with their testimonies, with the messages inside the book. That's what got me. The messages inside the book. So immediately when I started AALAC, I knew it was something about it. And I used to tell people, I always used to find myself telling people that it's about more than books.
Right.
You become a part of ALC. Trust me, it's about more than books. That's what I used to tell people, and I don't know why I was telling them that, but now I know why I'm telling them that. Never wanted the radio. This is what I'm doing now. I wouldn't have been doing this no 3-4 years ago. No, definitely wouldn't have been sharing no word of God because I didn't think I was worthy to. So definitely wouldn't have been sharing no word of God. Mm-mm.
He had serious humor. I sometimes really, really, I'm like, I'm a shy country girl that loves, very pretty, loves to wear heels, will want to play football in the heels. Loves to ride motorcycles, but to be in front of people, speaking, preaching, no, that's not me. It's not me. But after being beaten for so long, upside the head by him, by God,
Hmm.
I was like, okay, I surrender. But this right here, no, my mother saw it. I didn't see it. I didn't want to see it. I put it that way. Because because I'm gonna tell you, this is my thing. Because my ex-husband was trying to stop me from going to church a lot of time. Me and the kids will be dressed, getting ready to walk out the door, and he shuts that down. Okay. So when I became free, when God set me free from that marriage, all I could think about, I can do what I want to do. I don't have nobody telling me what to do. And I'm like, but it's a difference. It's a difference between you following him and following me. But all I could think about, all I was like, look, I've been doing this, and this all these years that everybody else wanted me to do. Can I just do and be Clara for a little bit? Just a little bit. And I'm like, okay, Lord. I'm like, okay. And that was I ain't gonna say the hardest thing, but one of the hardest things, because it was like, just like with my marriage, I didn't want to fail God and fail my parents. And I'm asked that a lot. And I'm like, I don't want to be a failure in my marriage. But then I had to realize only people that I really failed was myself. I didn't fail God because God didn't choose that man for me. So I didn't fail him. So there was a difference there. I may have failed my parents. They never told me that, but I've kind of felt like I did because of what I allowed to happen to me. But at the same time, I realized, okay, so you feel like you fail. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to have to put yourself first. That way you put yourself first, and you're going to do everything right by God. And I had to make a list. I still have that list to this day. And I think I wrote that list almost 10 years ago. Well, over 10 years ago. And it was over 10 years ago, because it was like in 2006 or 7 or something like that. But I had to do it a certain way in order for me to get there, because it was hard for me to find, to surrender again and just give up who and what Claire wanted to do. Because I just wanted to do me. In that marriage, I'd gotten up to over 200 pounds. Once we split, I didn't go on no diet or anything like that. People was like, how did you get that big? But the way I was proportioned, no one really knew I was exactly that big until I lost the weight. That's when they questioned me, because I went from a 16, 18 down to a 4, some size 2. They was like, wow. Why did you? Well, number one, the people was like, why did you lose that weight? I didn't lose the weight. The weight just fell off.
Came off.
Because
it wasn't your weight.
It wasn't my weight. I was carrying some dead
That was weight that you was carrying.
Eating, crying, depressed. Just that puts on the weight. And once he, start taking me towards those steps to my freedom, I started going back to some of the stuff that I love, which is being on the outside. So what better, what is to be on the outside, to be with nature, to go for walks, to, you know. So when the weight came off, okay,
I guess it froze up for a second.
okay. But one of the things that I want the women to get out of what I say here today is to fall in love with yourself, to know that you're worth more than what you get. You're worth more than someone calling you out of your name, someone telling you you're not worth nothing, someone controlling your purse, which means how much money that you can have after you went and worked all week. Someone telling you you can't go to church. You're worth more than that. If God has put in you your purpose driven walk, then you need to walk it accordingly. Not saying go against the grain with your husband, but if he's truly your husband, and I say this with the utmost respect, if he's truly your husband, and you got to know that he's your husband, then you and him need to come to an agreement. Look, this is not what I'm not going to accept anymore. Yes, I'm that woman of God that's going to submit to you, but you can't do this. And if you choose to keep doing and treating me this way, then I must take matters into my own hand and save me.
That's it.
Again, love do not hurt.
Don't.
Anybody that thinks it does, love's supposed to hurt, then something wrong with you. But love is not supposed to hurt. And I just refuse to allow anyone that I can, if I have the power
Mm-hmm.
to hurt and to sit silently knowing that they're hurting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to allow that. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to share this 2 years ago. Matter of fact, it came up in my memory about a week or so ago. Me and my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, we had our G Mama and Granddaughter Day. It's usually me and her, and then maybe my uh, she's 14 now, the 14-year-old granddaughter. We'll do our day together. We'll go to a movie, we'll go get something to eat, or whatever they want to do. And on this particular day, it was me and those two. But then the youngest one, I took her back to her mom, and because they had something already planned. So she did, spend some time with us. And then me and my oldest granddaughter went on to the movies. And as we went to the movies, we was going in, and the couple was coming out. Nice looking couple. He did this from behind, but he grabbed her from behind. That took everything in me not to say anything. And my grandbaby was like, "What are you going to do? What are you going to do?" I said, "I can't do anything." And she said, "Why?" I said, "Because, at this time, people are carrying guns."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "I don't know if he have a piece, and I have you with me. If I didn't have her with me,
Mm-hmm.
it probably would have been different." I said, "But he could have a piece. And if he do, and he brings that out, and something happened to you, I can never forgive myself." I said, so I told her, I said, so in that instance, I had to use wisdom I had to protect you because your parents entrusted you with me. And I just couldn't do it. But it took everything in me not to say anything. Everything in me. But I had to keep in mind, people carry guns now. You don't know if he's packing. So just pray and cover the young lady that she got out, she got away, and everything is okay. But it was very hard to walk away from that situation.
I'm saying people they getting bolder and bolder in public. It's just like a show to them. I seen this dude slap this girl in Walmart, and then she just fall right behind him, and they just walk on out the store like he didn't slap me.
I just get ready to say like it was nothing. And That right there speaks volume of her having low self-esteem, very low self-esteem. And she had a perfect opportunity right there in Walmart to
Leave.
she had the perfect opportunity to get him
To
because he
leave.
was go
He
against
would have
all
been left. I'm telling you, he would have been left standing right there where he was.
okay, because there's no way, there's no way. And what some women have to say, because I'm gonna even go here. My lawyer had in my divorce, she kept trying to, to have get this and get that. I told her, so it went almost 3 years to, and she was like, if you don't get your divorce before the 3 years is up, you got to start all over, and that's me more money and whatever. I'm like, I told you I didn't want nothing. I just wanted my peace. I just wanted my freedom. And that's another thing that I tell the women, look, if it means walking away with nothing
Hmm.
but clothes on your back, baby, walk away, because you can get more clothes, but you can't get another life. You can't get the life you want if you continue to stay in that unhappy situation. Because I believe that the longer I would have stayed there,
Mm-hmm.
what I already done a little over 2 decades. I've done 2 decades. If I would have stayed there any longer, I really believe that I probably wouldn't be here right now. I really do believe it. Because I'm not saying that he probably would have killed me or whatever, but saying that because of all of that, the way it was attacking me, I probably would have ended up grieving myself to death. And that's what something that, people may not think. You can be grieving for your own self while you're in a
Hmm.
situation. I'm, you know, because it is like death. It is truly death. And it's something that I don't wish on my worst enemy, period. And I'm like, and speaking on that is like when I came up out of that, I had to mourn that loss.
Hmm.
And then some people may not say that was a loss. That was a lot of years.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, that was a lot of years that I wasted, that I lost.
Okay, a
I
lot
can't
of you can't take none of that back.
take none of it back.
None of it.
you know Now I have to go forward, you know but it was really hard. And then another thing, I'm gonna go here, I never lived on my own. I went from mom and dad to him. So to do that is like, okay, and to do that with children, because I had still had 2 kids at home. But that was the best thing that I did for us,
Hmm.
because we were more alive. My children, they enjoyed life. They didn't have no worries. They got what they wanted, whatever. But at the same time, they knew that was something wasn't right too. Um, and I'm just glad that I at least got them out to where they can have peace. The last few years, at least the youngest two, have some type of peace in their household. But I'm gonna go here with you. I'm gonna say this: like our oldest, she was in the house until we didn't get divorced until after she finished high school. She was out of school for like let's to about 3 years or something like that. But the whole time that she was in school, her friends assumed that I was single. They didn't know that her mom and dad was actually together, because he wasn't present in no activities. He wasn't there to help. It was always me. And she was like, no, my mom and dad are still married. And I'm one of those ladies, and I know there's others that is married yet single.
Hmm. I'm
It's
telling you, my friend girl wrote a book. She wrote a book about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she got. Daphne said the same thing this morning when she was on. We talked about this.
Wow.
My friend girl got a book. Married but single. Married yet single, I think is the title. Yeah.
Oh, wow. But
She
yeah.
just released that book this month. I'm in September, I meant. In September.
Oh, I may have to go look for it, but yeah. Um, I guess I
Her
can.
name is Beverly White.
Guess I can't write about that then, because that was like one of my a title of one of my books that I was gonna write.
Your story is not gonna be the same as hers,
Not the same title though. I'd have to switch the title a little bit different.
and it's not gonna be the same. It's
Mm-mm.
not gonna be the same story.
Right, it's not gonna be the same. But yeah,
It's not you. It's not gonna be the truth. I can imagine what her story is when you hear her testimony. You hear her testimony. It's crazy. It's crazy. Her husband left her because he left her and went back to his baby mama when the son got killed. And then he blamed my friend. Say she wasn't there for his child, but she was there for everybody else. She was there for everybody.
wow.
Her 3 kids and his.
Mm-mm-mm.
And he walked away. He walked away. Oh, she wrote the book on it.
My God. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go look for it. You said Betty Wright,
Her name is Beverly White.
Beverly White. Okay,
Hmm.
okay. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look for that. And speaking of books, my first book will be dropping in a few weeks. Now I've co-authored probably about close to 10 books. I've done the forward for 3 books, but this is my first solo project. So I'm thankful that God gave me the green light to go ahead on and drop it. Yes, so I'm excited about that. It's a little bit, my story, me getting my freedom, removing the mask, and becoming the authentic me. Um, that's a hard thing, and I remember sharing with some people before because they was like, you so this and you so that. I was like, you just don't know. I covered myself up with the wigs because people always say this one lady I worked with years ago in the early 2000s. She older Caucasian lady. She's probably old enough to be my mom. And she was like, can I say something? I said, sure. She said, no. Can I? She said, it's personal. She said, I don't want you to go left on me. I was like, go ahead. She said, you've been working here now for a few months. And she's like, I can't recall really seeing you look the same because every day you have a different wig on. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah. She said, you come in here with bald head, with a little hair. You come in here with looking like your hair, like the Indian style. You come with hair all down your. I mean, she would describe and and I was like, wow. And that's what I did. And this one time, I had to go somewhere. I started really wearing my natural hair because God had during my process of removing, he and being set free to be me from that marriage, from that domestic violence and all of that. He even stripped me to wear my natural. And anybody that know me, natural hair is not me. Matter of fact, this is not me. This first time when I started wearing this with a few months ago, I've never had braids ever, not even as a child. So this is something different for me. But when so he took me to my natural, but then I had to go somewhere, so I threw on a wig because I was like, they're not going to accept the natural. And as I'm driving home, and I was like, and I had a bottle of water. I pulled the wig off. I had a towel in my car too. Put that towel around my neck, opened that bottle of water, poured it on my hair, did my hair a little bit, shook it, and my car don't have tinted windows. So a guy was on the side of me. He was looking. He just laughed, and I'm like, and I told my daughter, I said, I feel like an imposter because that's not me. And I was like, I have to leave these alone. I keep going back to that. It was like the wigs was a security blanket in a way, because I didn't want anybody to see my pain, to see that I may be hurting. And so I pray that the women understand that they need to, not allow something to not allow themselves, their true self. Yeah, the wigs look good. They look good, I depending on what I'm doing. I'm even go here. I told you I praise dance. One Sunday I had a praise dance. I had a wig on when I went to church, Sunday school and church. I had a different wig. I had a wig on. When I got ready to praise dance, I put on another wig. When I finished praise dance, I put on a different wig. The pastor says from the pulpit, I never seen anybody change hair. Sister Angela, I was like, no, you didn't call me out on the pulpit. But that was part of me still hiding. Even though I was out of the marriage at this time when I was praise dancing, because it wasn't long after the marriage. Matter of fact, I was going through my divorce. This was the time I was going through my divorce. So it was like, even though I would wear the wigs, but then they became more, like I said, my security blanket. And we have to find out when we're going through something, especially with domestic violence, you're going to wear different kind of masks for many reasons. Because number one, you don't want nobody to see the hurt that you have. Number two is that you want to at least feel alive. And if you put on a certain type of wig, that wig may make you feel more alive than you just looking at your quote unquote plain self. And then it's give you a way to escape from being who you are. But we have to really and truly say, you know what? I have to be my authentic self. I have to be me, because only way that I'm gonna find my true self, and I not allow man. And I say man, not just the man you with, but man, period. To not use or abuse me. I have to grab hold of me. I have to know that I'm strong enough to walk this walk that God has given me, and not be abused anymore, not be sucked into. Another thing is cliques. Don't get sucked into cliques. Don't get sucked into politics at church and politics on the job and all of that. Because what it does is it gives you that cancer again. Because being in bondage, it's like you being infected by something, and allowing it to eat you up, and you have to say no. I have to live. So in order for me to live, I have to know my worth. I have to take myself off that clearance. I have to say yes to me, yes to him, and no to everybody else.
That's it.
Because
that's it.
If you don't, you're gonna die a slow death, but you're gonna die because you allow everybody else to use you but God, and you allow everyone to have the happiness based on you but you.
Let me I'm gonna share something with you. It's been a couple of months now. God had been dealing with me with the word life. Life, that 4 letters. Those 4 letters. So he broke down to me what them letters mean. The L stand for love. Love covers a multitude of sin. Love is supposed to draw people. Love is supposed to help people out of what they're going through. Say we're supposed to love our neighbors as we loved ourselves. Inspiration. We're here to inspire people. Our life to be an inspiration to somebody. If somebody see us, they should see the God that's in us, all over us. We shouldn't have to say nothing. Our life should be a living inspiration. And then of course, the fear of God. That's what the F stands for, the fear of God. And then the E3 experience. I say, Lord, people not gonna know what the E3 experience is because that's what you gave me. He said, yeah, I gave it to you some years ago. You ain't shared it with nobody because don't nobody know what it is.
Oh, wow.
They don't know what it is because you ain't shared it. You've been sitting on it since 2012. So you gonna share it now?
I like
When
that.
he broke that down to me like that, I was like, wow. I was like, wow. I sit in this room and I was like, wow,
Okay.
wow. And I was looking around like somebody was in here with me.
Hmm.
And then everybody that I was sharing it with, I was asking them what those letters mean to them. And why everybody, and you can go look at the videos where I don't interview these people. Everybody, they may not say the same words, but everything was coinciding with what he gave me. What the L stand for, what the I stand for, what the F stand for. Everything was coinciding. They may use different words,
Uh-huh.
but it was coinciding.
Mm.
Every platform I'm on.
Mm.
Now I do 2 radio shows. Then I'd be doing these little blogs. Every platform I was going on, everything was the same. Even down to the show that I'm on Saturdays with the other ladies. We were talking about the same thing.
Hmm. So coming out of that, a book and a conference.
Well, life, like everybody know what life is. That's my thing now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is a part of my series, life. It's on the front of my book.
I must have missed that my first time here.
It just this book just released it, in September.
Okay. I still missed it because I thought I've seen all of your stuff. Okay.
Yeah, this one just came. We just released this. I think September 6th, maybe.
My son's birthday. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
just released it. Me and 19 other individuals. Two
Okay.
males. Two males shared their story in there.
Okay. Now I can say last month there was a lot of days that I just disappeared off of Facebook. I just like I need some quietness. Facebook was just too busy for me, you know. So I did take a lot of time off in September from Facebook. But you know, I like that. I really do. I'm gonna have to go and check that book out. But you know, one thing that he had started me saying years ago, I don't know if you've seen it on my page, is live, laugh, and love with no regrets.
Mm-hmm.
And my middle granddaughter had asked me one day because I was with her and her brother, my grandson. I was with them one day, and I did a Facebook Live, and at the end I said, "Remember to live, laugh, and love with no regrets." And she was like, "Gee, Mama, you always say that. Why you say that?" And of course, at that time, she didn't know what I had gone through with their grandfather. So I just broke it down to her in a different way. Well, the same, but just, you know, excluding that. I said, when God takes you from something, when he frees you from something, he told me, he said, I freed you to live, laugh, and love. And to live life out loud. I said, so since he freed me to live life and love with no regrets, why wouldn't I? He's giving me this chance. I said, so if I turned 80 years old and I did not take advantage of him allowing me to wake up and live life fully, live life out loud each and every day, then it's on me. I have no reason at 80 just to regret anything because he set me free to enjoy life. Now, there may be things that I may not can do that I want to do for whatever reason, but as long as I try to
Hmm.
do whatever it is that I wanted to do, I shouldn't have any regrets. I said, so, and I said, and I want you to keep this in mind, to always live life like there's no tomorrow, laugh as if it's your last laugh, and love like you never loved before. Because you only get it one time. You only have one life. And one thing that I say, my grandchildren have heard me, even because I have a blog talk. I've been having a blog talk. Oh my God. I'm gonna say at least 10 years, for a long time. And they will always be there when I would be preaching or when I have guests on there. They, you know, they've seen my Facebook lives or they've seen me do my Bible studies, and they will always come back. Even it could be 4 or 5 years later, and it was like, you remember when you said da 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 da? I was like, when did I say that? You know, so I try to, you know, be mindful. when they're with you, it's going to stick to them. So be mindful of what you're saying so that it can be something that's going to resonate with them, so that they, as they get older, say, okay, well, I heard G Mama say this, so I better not, sway this way.
Hmm.
So I try to be mindful, because like I say, because they'll come back and they'll say, well, you said da 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 da.
I'm telling you, I remember them days. I remember them days sitting at my great grandfather's house. I remember them Saturdays. I remember them Sundays when we went after church, and I used to sit there and be like, "Didn't I just went to church? Why we got to come here?" I used to say that stuff, but not knowing that all them prayers that man prayed over our life before we left there.
Yep.
All them prayers that he was praying for generations to come, and that man used to pray.
Yep.
We used to sit there for hours. I been on ran around these people's house. I been on tore my granddaddy them yard up. I remember that day I broke that flower out there. Oh my God. I got my butt beat out there on that porch, and then I got whooped when I got home again.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Because I should have been sitting down listening to my great granddaddy. That's what I should have been doing. Should have been getting all the word I can get.
That's something that I'm doing. Whenever I will go back home to visit, both my parents are deceased now, but when I will go back home to visit, and my mother would take me to, she go visit the older people, and I would love to go and just visit them. And my classmates are, they would be like, "Why won't you come visit?" I was like, "Look, I drove all the way here. You want to come see me? You come see me. I'm not going nowhere in the car to nobody's house but these old people, because I love hearing the old people talk. I love hearing their wisdom. I love, and I'm going to go here. There need to be more Titus II women. Where are they at? You know what I mean? And sometimes I put out there on Facebook, where are my Naomis? The Ruth needs their Naomis. Where are you at? Are you here? But that's one thing that I love doing, is sitting at the feet of the elderly. But everybody's gone now. So it's like, man. So I try to keep some of what they say, in me, and pass it on to my grandchildren as best as I can, and whatever God gives me to give to them anyway. But yes, and it's something how, like you just said, you remember now, back when. So you already know that the kids is they're gonna be like, gonna have an aha moment. Oh, okay.
And then now these kids, it's like they come out with photogenic memories. Like you can sit there and talk to them. They come out already know how to work a computer and in these phones.
I got
and they just sit.
I got a new phone, didn't know how to work it. And my grandson, he was barely 4 years old. He told me, like, Gammy, give it to me. And I was like, huh? He told me, I know how to do it. I was like, how you know? I was so embarrassed. Because he was able to get my phone going for me, and I couldn't do. I didn't know how to do it. Period. I was like, this is crazy.
They come out already know how to work these electronics.
Yes, they do. They do. And it's like, how? It's a good thing, but it's just they stay on point with it though.
Cause they parents, what they be doing the whole time they pregnant? What they be doing? Phone sitting there in front of that's what my nephew baby mama did. Every time I used to see her, she always had that phone in her hand. Always had that phone in her hand. Always. Always. Can't do nothing without that phone.
Gotta put it down sometimes.
Can't do nothing without that phone. That phone. They came down here to Myrtle Beach. Both of them, my nephew and her, lost the phone out in the middle of the ocean. Because they couldn't put it down, trying to take pictures while they out there. Can't put the phones down. That's what's wrong with the millennial kids. That's why they kids coming out already know how to work these things.
They both lost.
Both of them. I say, why y'all even? I say, you jet skiing. Why you got a phone on a jet ski?
That didn't make no sense.
Why you got a phone? They trying to record. Why you trying to record on the jet ski? when you know there's a possibility that stuff can flip over and you're gonna be submerged in water. Forget the phone is waterproof for 30 minutes. Okay, you don't know how far that ocean go to the bottom.
At all.
So somebody got some phones, but they ain't gonna be no good when they surf. Cause after 30 minutes, they ain't no good.
Wow. I know that for them.
Yeah, because you know what my nephew had to do? You know what he had to do? He had to go back to his old phone.
And he didn't like that, did he?
No, because the reason why he got rid of that because he was messing up and got that one. Now you got to go back to the one that messing up.
Mm-mm.
I said, you gonna get a new one now? He said, no, auntie, I can't afford that new one coming down. I said, I know you can't. He just got in. He just got in Clark Atlanta in the master's program. So no, I know you can't.
Okay.
I know you can't.
They are.
But I bet you won't. I bet you won't go back to ski no more with no phone. I bet you learned that time.
Okay.
I hope it taught you. If it didn't teach you, I don't know what will.
Now that should have been well learned.
You won't have to repeat that circle.
Okay.
It ain't funny, but you won't have to repeat that circle.
At all. At all. At all.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing with us today and being transparent. I tell you, it is not easy sharing.
It is
So
not.
I thank you. I truly thank you for coming on today.
It is not how I was recently. I was like, each time that I share, it takes a lot. And I have to really prepare myself because it's like depending on what I'm sharing. I mean, I would say this: there's always still some healing. I'm healed, but there's always still something. It's like it's not that the basically is this. It's like you kind of sort of embarrassed a little bit about some of the stuff. It's like because when you say it, it's like I let
Like,
somebody.
did I go do this? Did I really do this? Did I really? Yeah.
Right.
I'm telling you today it's a lot of what I've been saying sound crazy to me, and I'm sitting up there like, did you really do that, Angela? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why?
Yep.
But we live and we learn.
We live and we
Live
learn.
and we learn.
But I can't. I will say this too to those that hear this: that the more you talk about it, the more you're healed.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you decide that you're not going to go and seek counsel, a lot of us don't want to go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you share your story with someone, it not only helps them, but it helps you because it's a healing process. It's a
Mm-hmm.
healing process. It's a healing process. So I would encourage anyone to, to at least do that as well. But let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
When you got into another relationship, was there something that that person may have done that triggered you, but he noticed something, but you didn't notice it?
Ask that question again.
When you got in another relationship, was there something that you did that you didn't really notice that you did, but he noticed it and then turned around and asked you, were you ever abused?
Well, it's what this is crazy because it did happen, but I went back to my ex before all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Guy that was my first love, and when we broke up, we actually broke up on good terms, and we became really good friends. He got married, and I got married, and we stayed friends. We ended up back together. He's my fiance now. He actually lives in Atlanta though. But yeah, when I was in Atlanta and we used to be together all the time, I would do stuff and he would be like, I'm not him. He would tell me I'm not him.
Hmm.
And when he would say that, I would know.
What he's talking about.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked that, because was in this relationship, and this was years ago, and we would go to the movies, go out to eat or whatever. I never paid attention to one night he was like, "Come over and I'm gonna cook you dinner and whatever." So I did, and once we finished eating dinner, he put in a movie, so we're gonna watch a movie. So we're sitting there on the couch, and he came. We were sitting opposite, but then he came and sat next to me, and he put his hand. He reached to put his hand over, around my neck to bring me closer to him, and I didn't. I didn't notice that I had did like this, and he was like, he muted the phone, and he was like, "Can we talk?" I said, "Yeah." And he asked me questions about me and my ex-husband. And he said, did he abuse you in any way? I said, why? He said, because every time that I've gone to reach out to hug you, you duck. And all I could think about was that because a lot of times we are, me and my ex-husband, and he got mad because his cousin or a friend of his may have said something to me. To him, I'm not to respond back to no man. But if you got me around them, how am I not gonna? I'm just supposed to not say anything to them. So when we get in the car and leave them, he go. So it's and I guess when dude would try to reach his arm around me, I would duck because I'm thinking that he's getting ready to hit me like my ex-husband.
And it'd be non-conscious stuff.
It's just
it's just a reflex. It'd be reflex.
That's it. And I was like, wow. And but that hasn't happened, since then. Well, it's been a minute, but haven't happened since then. It's been, like I said, some years. But that's one thing that I had to keep in mind also was that even though you hear from this, there still may be something that may come up, may happen. Because I didn't think that I was, if he would have never said anything, I probably would have never known that I was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me to thinking, well, are you doing any other things that, that he may not recognize, but you may be doing them based on what you've gone through with your ex? And I'm like,
when I would sit in the car, when we would be in the car, I would ride like this. I would look out the window, and he'd be like, "Why are you always staring out the window? I'm over here." And I really wouldn't notice it. And he'd be like, "I'm over here." He'd be like, "I'm over here."
Wow.
But it was just when I got in the car, I just did that.
And that was
because with my ex-husband, that's usually how I sit in the car with him. That's how I sit in the car with him. I would get in the car with him, and this is exactly how. And even if I was driving, I used to drive like this. I would drive looking out the window. And people like, how you drive with your arm on like this? How you drive like that? I'd be trying to block him.
Ways possible. That's deep, but reality. So I'm sure that that's not the way it is now.
No.
In the space that you're in.
No.
Thank God. Thank God. So when is the wedding?
I don't know yet because I'm trying to debate. I don't want to move back to Atlanta. I want to stay in Myrtle Beach.
Oh.
And he don't want to move here yet because he has a daughter that's getting ready to graduate. So we're trying to. We either gonna wait to she graduate and he can move here, or we're gonna go somewhere else because I don't want to live in Atlanta. And if he don't want to go somewhere else, then I can't do it right now. I don't want to live
in Atlanta. Settle on that one, that's for sure. I keep saying that I want to leave Houston, but then my children like, okay.
Where you going? All them grandbabies? They ain't
gonna let me go nowhere. at all. I said something on Facebook one time, and when I tell you, probably 100 something comments came on to my, where you going? Where you think you going?
Hmm.
I even got phone calls. No, you cannot leave us. I'm like, okay.
No, because I want to come to Texas. I ain't never been to Texas.
You've never been here? Okay. Yeah. Hopefully next summer we'll be up and okay to live a little bit more of a normal life. Maybe then.
Yep, I want to go. I want to come to Texas. I want to go to Germany. I want to go to Africa. I want to go to the Virgin Islands, and I want to go to the UK.
I want to go to Dubai and all of those said. But yeah,
I
and see,
want to go to Dubai too. You know what? I got to find my niece list because I want to go everywhere my niece went. Because when she look that list she went on before she turned 30, on her 30th birthday, she was in Cairo, Egypt.
okay, I ain't mad at her.
And I'm talking about where she was at, and man, I'm talking about it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Sounds good.
She done
But
been to Dubai too, by way of Paris. They went Paris, Dubai. They stayed in Paris a couple of. She done been all over the place.
that's good.
My
Yeah,
nephew have too, but he was stationed in Germany. He was stationed in Israel. He want to go back to Germany. He want to go to Africa. He been to Jamaica, I think.
mm.
But yeah, he been to little places too. I said I'm gonna be like them when I grow up.
I know that's right. It's supposed to be Africa in for ministry, but of course, Rona changed that.
Yes.
So we have to see what happens once she's over, and I go back and go on and schedule to go over there at that time. But yes, um, then of course, my ministry has reached Germany, Africa, all overseas, London. But this one young lady in London, she and I sometimes will talk. It's been a while since we talk verbally on the phone, and we'll talk on the phone like me and her just right next door to each other.
Mm.
And for the life of me, I can't figure out when my ministry, because it's been some years, reached London, reached Africa, reached Germany. I'm like, I don't even remember when or how that happened, but all I can say is thank you, God.
That's it.
You
That's
know,
it.
and um, and that is a blessing to know little old me
Mm.
started, Women of Divine Distinction Ministry, which was birthed for domestic violence, and then it moved on over into, as I accepted my calling, into Clara L. Peters Ministries. That it reached internationally. That has truly blessed me. Um, but I'm just thankful that even this quiet country girl who just
Mm.
refused to share her story, found her voice, and which is every woman need to find their voice. And not saying do public speaking, that may not be your calling, but still you can share your story if you work somewhere. Somebody in that coffee room may need to hear something about what you've dealt with, you know. And that's one thing that I feel as though a lot of us miss the mark there, is that someone you working with, someone that is in your circle,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with something, and because you don't want to share your story,
Mm.
you miss in helping that person save themselves.
I was on this job and I was telling people, I don't even know why I went to work. When I first came here to Myrtle Beach, I was working at a laundromat. A laundromat. I worked there for probably 4 weeks. And people used to come in there and I used to tell them, I don't know why I'm here.
Hmm.
Because what they was paying me,
It's like, no, no.
I don't know why I was there. And then one day this girl come in there and out of the blue, I just went over and just started talking to her.
Hmm.
And that's when she told me her story. of how she was incarcerated and how she lost her relationship with her family. And all of this happened because of a man. And she was locked up for how long? And she was just getting her life back together. And I was there. I was able to minister to her. And that girl told me, she said, you know what? She said, I come here looking for you. She said, every time I come to do laundry, she said, I come looking for you. She said, it was something about you when I first met you that day.
Mm.
And she said, I come in here looking for you. And I told her, I said, baby, I said, I don't know why I'm here.
She was the
I
reason.
say, because I definitely don't make no money here. I say, because I can show you. I pulled out my phone and I showed her my cash app. I said, baby, I can make more money on my own than in an hour than I make here in a week.
Mm.
And I pulled my phone out and I showed her. I said, baby, I don't know why I'm here. Not too long after that, that's when the corona stuff started happening. They started shutting stuff down here in Myrtle Beach. So, of course, I was the last one to get hired, so I was the first one to let go. So I remember getting a call. As a matter of fact, I was at the laundromat the day they called me. I felt some type of way because I knew that it was another girl that had been kind of sick or whatever, and she wanted to be laid off. But then she was talking about her hours and she wanted money. She wanted to be guaranteed to have a job. And they had already been making little comments, sly comments. If they didn't close us down, if the government didn't close us down, and if we voluntarily took what's the name, that they weren't gonna let us come back. So they was gonna fire us. If we took if we voluntarily on our own decided to take it, they was gonna fire us. They weren't gonna let us come back after the COVID-19 was over, which was illegal. But he told me I was laid off. I said okay. But then when he called me back, he called me back 2 hours later and asked me. No, he didn't ask me. He pretty much told me that there was another young lady that they felt like she should have taken the layoff because she was a little sicker than, I'm like, how can you put value on her life and not mine?
Exactly.
So I told him no. I said, you don't laid me off, so I'm going to take my layoff. So he told me, he said, okay. He said, draw your unemployment. This was the other people. He said, draw your unemployment. And when COVID is over, we're going to cut ties. I said, okay.
No problem.
But you know what he did? They tried to block my unemployment. But let me show you how good my God is. I told my sister what happened. She said, Angela, she said, you don't remember when you sit in there the other day? She said, you said, you wish you could do this full time and not have to go to nobody else's job. She said, you don't remember saying that? I said, yeah. She said, so what you mad for? So you know what I did? I didn't have none of my radio shows then. I didn't have none of that. You know what I mean? I set my room up. I made it me a little office space. Set my 2 computers up. Ordered me some little, what's the name? I got 2 radio shows now. I've been saying I wanted the magazine. One of my spiritual moms, she didn't even know I wanted the magazine, but she was getting ready to go to Africa. She was supposed to be getting ready to go to Africa. Like she was supposed to go to Africa in April, I think. No, March. I think she was supposed to left March the 9th or whatever. And then she called me and she said her trip was canceled. And she began to minister to me over the phone. So I was like, so not within 24 hours after this lady spoke into my life, my friend from Africa called me. She called me and we were talking, and then I was telling her about my magazine that I wanted. I hadn't even created the magazine yet, but I told her I wanted the magazine. And this was the end of March. So she said my daughter do it. She just said her daughter do it. How you just gonna volunteer your daughter? She said she'll do it. She said she'll do it. She said it'd be right up her alley. I said, well, let me talk to her and tell her, you know, what I'm looking for, what I want to do, or whatever. She said she'll do it. She said, watch, she'll do it. So I gave her my number and I told her to call me. She called me. Now we're on our 5th magazine just released. 5th magazine released last night. Went live last night.
Awesome. Congratulations on that. I see that you did several different types of calendars. I gave my oldest granddaughter, she came by last weekend. I gave her one of the calendars. She was like, "Oh, this is nice." She said, "It's for me." I'm like, "Yeah." So
I did a couple different ones. And I didn't want I wanted to I did a collaboration project. We did Sisterhood of the Traveling Prayers. And I wanted to do something to kind of keep the ladies connected because we often do these projects and the people that we do these projects with, we often disconnect after the project. We don't stay connected after the project.
Right.
And you know, I just wanted something that I could remember these ladies by for myself, for me personally. That would keep me connected to them, so I can remember their faces. So when I'm praying, I can pray over them. You know, that was the whole reason for me creating that first calendar. Somebody saw the calendar and they said, "Why don't you do one for the authors?" So when I created the first calendar, then it just went on. I think I did 8 total.
Oh, okay.
I did a total of 8. But I just wanted to create something so people can have something to remember themselves by, and something that they can share with somebody else. Because it's good to see yourself in print.
Yes, and I love for the June, my birthday. I was like, oh, yeah. So that was nice. That was really nice. So I know you have someone else coming on with you in 6 minutes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I know I need to go on and get off so that young lady can come on and be a blessing. But this has truly blessed me. I will be chiming in a little bit later. I have an appointment that I have to get ready for, and but I'll be back on probably about 3 hours. I'll be back on
Okay.
to
Well,
to
I'm
support.
gonna be right here. I'll be right here.
That is good. And keep doing what you're doing. It is a blessing to the masses.
Well, thank you, and just keep me lifted.
I
And
will.
I will definitely be praying for you and your ministry too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. God bless you.
Same to you. Thank you.
Bye bye.
I tell you guys, I have truly been blessed on today. I tell you, God is definitely moving. I'm gonna end this particular broadcast, but please, jump on over. We're gonna be on another broadcast, another live. Um, so we're going on to live number 5, and I'm gonna be bringing up my amazing guest. So I'm gonna end this now, but come over and check us out.